Let's talk the Kentucky Derby while having a beer at the bar. Trust the profits. It's the formula here, and we got Kentucky Derby talk, Ep.4. Yeah, it's almost December. Does it still seem weird to be talking about the Kentucky Derby? I would say no. We're getting into it. Breeders' Cup is behind us. We just got through the Kentucky Jockey Club. Honor Marie, obviously, getting the win there. We're going to talk through some Derby power rankings as they are today. Obviously, things are going to be changing between now and that great day in May, but yeah, we got to be talking about who's looking good right now, who's starting to hit the board, who could be hitting those potential Derby prep races. Honor Marie, American Rascal, Otello, Wind Rider all had some wins this weekend. Maybe we'll see some of them. Maybe we won't. We got two upcoming races. The biggest one being Remsen, and then after that we got on same day a maiden special weight at Del Mar. So let's get to it. Oh, before we get to it, AI image of the week: horse racing in Shibuya. I wouldn't look too close at that image. Some of these AI images can be pretty disturbing. Those horses do not look like horses. They look more like shovels. All right, power rankings. Top three still in BC Juvie honeymoon phase. I'll say top four because I did throw Nash into the third spot there. Nash, obviously not part of the BC Juvie, but has had an impressive win since then. I moved Muth down just a hair. Nisos is up there. Knightsbridge, Prince of Monaco moving down. Hey, I dropped Booth. Booth had a big loss this weekend and was also running in 6 furlong, 7 furlong races, so I didn't feel it was right to keep him on the list anymore. He gets bounced. Mystic Dan would like to keep him on there. Still keeping an eye on Mystic Dan, but Honor Marie getting the win this weekend. Got to throw Honor Marie into consideration, and obviously adding in liberal arts, which I'm going to get to in a second. And the reason why liberal arts gets added, okay, I'll back it up a hair. In the comments section last week, an old friend of ours, I believe it was Mark Palmer, added some flavor to the comments section along the lines of why am I not considering liberal arts? I would love to tell Mark Palmer he's wrong, but in this case, I believe he is right. I overlooked liberal arts. Liberal arts was on my list. However, I failed to include him in the top 10 list when I started making these shows. I was watching him early on, and it got away from me. I'll just put it that way. And he's got good reason to say this, right? So we talk about a lot of these prep races in October, November. What's the track record on these? Even December. How many of them actually project out winners for the future? So last year, two fills. Second place at Kentucky Derby. He won the Street Sense. Not too shabby. Howland Time, mm, had a pretty decent career, not living up to the expectations, I would say, for Dale Romans there. King Fury, South Bend was in the Kentucky Derby, 15th place finish. Improbable though. I mean, we'll go down to improbable here in 2018. Four G1s in his career, including closing out his last four races with three G1 wins and a second place. I mean, improbable was a solid horse. So, in terms of being able to predict success, none of these races are 100%. But at this point, a late October race, Mark Palmer, you're right. The Street Sense, the winner of the Street Sense, should be getting some consideration. Therefore, liberal arts is in my top 10. Hats off to you, brother. Honor Marie. Let's talk about Honor Marie, winner of the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. A lot of these horses we look at, Nisos, for example, we look at a little bit of what Fierceness does. We look at these horses that are really, in Nisos' case, tearing away from the pack, setting up a big win. We look for those. We look for the horses that blow away their pack in their maiden race. In Fierceness' case, looking super strong, defeating the whole field by a number of lengths. Honor Marie, take a look at this line here. Honor Marie came back from 8 lengths. From eighth place, seventh place. Was really charging behind. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a deep closer here. Let's see what it looked like down the stretch.
Anna Marie comes alive with a wide sweeping move. It's wide open, top of the stretch. Stretch stride, trying to hang tough. Here's Anna Marie with a sweeping move on the far outside. And Real Men Violin punches through toward the rail. 1 furlong to go. Anna Marie's up for a short lead. Stretch ride fights on. Real Men Violin down toward the rail. They're coming to the finish. And Anna Marie from off the pace to score by 2.
Honor Marie, 2 wins, 1 second place in 3 races, including the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. Welcome to the club here. Great win there. Comes from Honor Code. Whitworth Beckman is the trainer. Good things to see there. This is a race that I covered last week. My top 3 horses were Awesome Ride, Risk It, Stretch Ride. I forgot exactly what order. Doesn't matter. They finished third, fourth, and fifth. So I missed this one. I missed on Honor Marie. Next time. Next time. Moving along. What else we got going on here? American Rascal. This is a fun one to point out here. Another stakes race that we had. Not a long one, 6 furlongs, but I do want to bring up American Rascal. Um, has 2 wins, one 15th place finish, one sixth place finish. So broke his maiden first time out impressively. Um, Went to Ascot, did not look so great there, 15th place finish. After that, in Keeneland, I believe, had an allowance race where he didn't really factor in at all. Was a heavy favorite in that race, but didn't factor in. I think a fifth or sixth place finish somewhere along there. Comes back to Zia, 6 furlongs, blast them away. A 5 3/4 length finish. But the thing to note about American Rascal, sure, he's got a couple wins in short 5 6 furlong races, but this is a horse that comes from Curlin. Curlin, very good at the long distance. It's trained by Steve Asmussen. Not saying that this one is definitely a Derby horse, but it's definitely a horse that we put on the radar. Didn't hit my top 10, but definitely a horse that on Derby Talk I want to bring up as a wait and see, a watch, see what happens with American Rascal. Hard to ignore those Curlins. Do we have another Curlin coming up? Oh, we sure do. Oh, look at that transition. We transition nicely into that one. Otello, Christophe Clement, trained horse, won by a neck in a maiden special weight race in Aqueduct over the weekend on the 24th. Going 1 mile in that race, winning by a neck, charging from behind, as you can see. Again, not hitting the top 10. What we're looking for here are horses that we can talk about in terms of being something that we might be seeing in a Kentucky Derby prep race coming up, someone that might hit the board at some point, horses that we may consider maybe moving up depending on what they win. This could be a horse that is in the in the New York chapter. Wind Rider. This is a race that I did cover as well, a maiden special weight race at Churchill Downs. The horses that I concentrated on here when we spoke last time, I had Hall of Fame, Box Office, and I believe Ghostly Spitfire, but I could be wrong on that. But Box Office and Hall of Fame are the ones that I remember closest. Box Office being the one I was more enthused about, but Hall of Fame being up there as well. Obviously, Hall of Fame went off as the favorite in this race. Wind Rider, though, hadn't going out first time at Indiana, coming in third place there, showed quite a bit in this race. Hanging pretty close to the pace for most of this 7 furlongs. At the stretch, taking the lead by half a length there, winning by 2 over Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame having some struggles early on in this race, as did Box Office. They were sitting 6th, 7th, and 8th place most of the race, having to charge up from behind. Hall of Fame with Tyler Gaffleone having more success. I'm looking forward to those two more than I am Wind Rider, but I'll keep an eye on Wind Rider. Has Honor Code as a sire, so notable horse, I suppose. Not completely sold yet. All right, let's look ahead. So we just spoke about at this level the street sense, and being able to predict a horse's success from these early races, right? The pre-New Year prep races, and the Remsen is a big one. This is one where we're going 9 furlongs, so it's a really big test for all these horses. It's one that I like to look at, but I have to say, if you look at the Remsen, as much as I like it, not exactly a great predictor of horse success. I do like Mo Donegal. I was a big fan of Mo Donegal going into the 2021 Derby, but WNL Brooklyn Strong, Shotsky. We're not seeing huge quality here coming out of the Remsen to say, oh, yeah, we predicted this one a while back. I'm sure someone will find a horse on here you could take a shot at me for. We're looking down at Honor Code. Obviously, Honor Code is a real special horse. But the Remsen as it goes, maybe we'll see another Modonigal type performance come out here, but Modonigal's and in that year, but for the most part, not expecting to see a Derby horse come out of this race, but maybe we will. Maybe we will. Don't want to slant it just yet. Let's move on to the Remsen itself. So we've got a lot of horses here, coming from a lot of good jockeys, including a little horse that I like to call Where's Chris?
Chris?
Where's Chris almost made my list. And that's a shout out there to El Hombre. He loves that clip. A couple horses that did make my list, though, my top three, in no particular order, but I'll go in this order. Donarch from Good Magic, as we talked about before, Good Magic being a tremendous sire. This horse broke his maiden in a big way last time out. Second place at the Sapling Stakes before that. One length off of Noted in Monmouth for that one. And try not to correct me on my Monmouth spelling, but if you have to, you must. Domestic Product by way of Chad Brown, Practical Joke, broke his maiden, 9 furlongs at Aqueduct. On the pace, winning by 4 lengths in that one. So Domestic Product, I think, is a horse that a lot of people are going to look at. I would guess that is going to be the favorite between Don Arch and Domestic Product. I think one of those two. Hard to tell. Don't know the favorites yet. Don't know what the lines are. Moonlight is also out there, second at the Street Sense, charging to catch up with Liberal Arts in that one, the horse that we mentioned before. Moonlight also a heavy consideration for the Remsen. And yeah, we got Del Mar. Looking at a little maiden special weight race here, mainly because we got a couple Bafferts that haven't broken their maiden yet. My top one here is Imagination. Into Mischief horse, lost to Pilot last time out, second place by 2 lengths there. So he was the second place horse to Pilot when Pilot broke his maiden. To Apollo, I'm guessing that's how you say it. A Tapiture horse. John Sadler trained, improved to second his last time out, going 6.5 furlongs in that one. So to Apollo, it's got some good bloodlines there. John Sadler and British Isles. Zero in the money finishes in 2 attempts. But I mean, you look at the bloodlines and you look at Baffert and you think that something's going to click here at some point, right? You look at Justify, you look at Baffert, and you start thinking, okay, I can see this working. But British Isles in 2 races has yet to show anything. A little bit of an unwieldy horse, if you may. But this could be the race. I mean, 7 horses, not a lot of steep competition. These are mostly horses that are not even going out for their first time. They didn't hit it their first time. They're looking to correct something. They're looking to get their first win. It's wide open for British Isles. And so what else we got here? Yes, we close out in a futuristic Japan horse racing AI image. Thank you to Google AI for that one. And that is all I have. Who did I miss? You guys called me out on liberal arts last week. Mark Palmer, you got my back on that one for sure. Add him to my list, of course. Move him up. But who else? Any other races that I'm missing here? And let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.